the clear #1. This has been the most dominant season that Envy has ever had in NA Contenders, bar none.
So, Envy rolling out here. Looking like they're going to be between triple DPS phase 2. They have Gunther and Rat joining them here. As they move out, going to be playing a standard 3-3 with Duplicate on that Reinhardt. As Nishik takes a lot of early spam. It looks like phase 2 just going back to spawn and swapping. Probably going to get the Moira, get the Winston.
Yeah, going to be forced to swap out. Also, it's like Gunther or Gunther. I feel like that might be Gunther,
Gunther
because it has the accent or the U. I think that's how it's pronounced. I mean, I'm no specialist here as Elvo gets the early boop kill and Envy just continues.
My goodness, their spawn camping them
camping
at the doors and the point hasn't even flipped yet.
But you know, I'm going to trust the accent. I think it's Gunther.
Okay, I'm going with you. Gunther it is.
Gunther, yes.
You see Elevo being so aggressive here on the Pharah, getting pocketed by Fire. Sharp hack, though, and cleaned up by Duplicate.
Nice way to pick up. I mean, Duplicate always a threat here on phase 2. Envy might have early control. And, you know, the interesting thing with the spawn camp is that Jaru doesn't really get a ton towards the EMP in the beginning, but as I say that, he just builds up a whole lot and then some off Duplicate as Envy continuing the contest. But they're contesting in a fight that is quickly gone against them. Phase 2 gonna get the recontrol here, and I wonder if Envy just got a little bit carried away going for the spawn.
I think Envy probably got a little bit carried away. Eldevote also pressed the press Q to die button on Pharah, pressed the barrage, and was instantly eliminated. So Envy making the swap here onto the Sombra Goats, putting Fire back onto Lucio. Jaru staying on the Sombra for that EMP, and Frill moving to the Winston.
Meanwhile, Jaru, he's built up the EMP, and it's actually a pretty quick EMP build for Jaru, and he immediately lets it fly, hitting 3 in the process, and that's enough to immediately take down Lucio, Gunther out of the fight right away. And Envy now just looking to pile on through. Trill going to get the nano boost and just casually walk around the point here, laying the Winston damage and let Envy just move forward and get control. Very easy for Envy here.
It is a pretty successful push there, but I mean, phase 2 have more overall cap time. Onyx will also have the EMP moving to the next fight. So there's a win condition available for phase 2 in this next engagement, and there are really no ults at all up for Envy.
I think for phase 2, they're in a good spot. I mean, obviously, it's going to depend on Onyx, where Onyx, I mean, it's been more on Zarya, but at times getting good ults off has not been his specialty. So just making sure that you get an EMP that hits enough people and doesn't get interrupted in some form or fashion.
So here comes phase 2, dropping back onto the low ground. Duplicate making a swap back onto the Rhine. As you see Envy, they're just poking. They're playing extremely split. They know Onyx has the EMP. As Pika, he gets hacked, he gets naded, he's down.
Well, they dropped the EMP, and the EMP only going to be hitting 3. Envy able to disengage to a degree. They do lose Zarya and all of it, and the EMP still does a lot of damage, but they're still chasing down. They get Duplicate. Envy can conceivably fight this back. They have an EMP of their own. And Jaru might not consider using it here. Phase 2, they use the beat. They try and fight back, but you're going to have the EMP come out. It's going to strip what remains. Envy, though, they're not in a great position to easily pile in after, and that EMP actually probably wasted.
I really disagree from the EMP usage there for Jaru. The fight was, I mean, phase 2 had firm control of the point. They were all grouped together. There was no one really there to clean up. So now Jaru making a swap back onto the Brigida, Trill going Rhine. And phase 2 are about to equalize the time. They're building up to an EMP. This is definitely, Envy are not going to get a guaranteed round win here.
No, I don't think so. And phase 2, especially looking at the EMP, now there's an early sleep on the Pika. Envy's going to slowly head back over and in. And Envy, they have swapped to a 3-3. It's going to be a little bit more dominant than the DPSF they had. The bomb kill connects off the grab. And Envy's done enough here to retake. And also, I think it's going to be a little bit harder for phase 2 to deal with the 3-3 the way that Envy's about to play it.
It is, but look at the cap for phase 2. Phase 2 is 91%. If they move in, win the fight aggressively with their EMP, I mean, they also have the rally as well, then that's round.
It's all down to Onyx here, where Onyx must land a good EMP, and Envy, you know, they're not really close to getting a nano boost here, so they're not going to be able to rely on that to mitigate the way that we've seen from other Onyx setups, unless phase 2 takes a large amount of time, but they don't have time. They have to go straight in, so they immediately drop the EMP. Envy, 3 people get hit, but the fall through for phase 2, it's not there. Envy able to shrug it off, and now they're back on the point. Trill going to drop a shatter of his own. Not getting a whole lot off of it. Phase 2 still alive and in it. Duplicate, the shatter built up mid-fight. Could be what phase 2 needs to put it over the top. Waiting for it, drops the shatter, knocks down 3! Crimzo and Jaru very vulnerable here. And Jaru gonna fall. The shatter from Duplicate might have done enough. Envy in a very, very tough spot now. Trill gonna fall, and there's gonna be phase 2 getting the cap, and does Envy even have enough time to come back in?
Does Envy not only not have enough time, but do they have any ults even if they can touch? They really don't have a lot of resources. Onyx has another EMP. This is phase 2's round. I'm calling it right now. It's phase 2's round.
It absolutely should be. I think Envy might be able to touch. It's gonna be very close if they're even able to do that. And no! They don't get there in time.
Well, you know, phase 2 come out swinging. They get a lot of value from Onyx on the Sombra. And what looked to be a really aggressive spawn camp at the beginning with the triple DPS sort of... Envy just didn't look coordinated. They looked like they were just losing fights they shouldn't have. They were just losing picks they shouldn't have, throwing away ults. Not a very coordinated first round for Envy.
Yeah, I mean, from that round right there, I gotta tell you right now, I'm not really rating Envy's DPS comps, at least up against other DPS-focused comps, very highly. That was very uncoordinated from top to bottom, and, you know, one player that we give a lot of credit to, and we should continue to give credit to, is Duplicate, where Duplicate outright got better value from Shatter there than Trill did.
So now moving here on to Sanctum. Phase 2 playing the 3-3 here again, putting Onyx back into the Zarya, Duplicate on the Winston, Envy mirroring that. Both teams going to take this fight, going to look to control the pillar side.
Envy being a little bit more dominant here, moving forward towards phase 2. Phase 2 going to give them quite a bit of space. And now for Envy, they can potentially use this to get first point control. Phase 2 saying, okay, we're going to rotate back out this way. We don't want to give up first for free. But Envy already with a decent split here so far. Trill far forward, 60% towards Primal, heavily outbuilding Duplicate right now.
A lot of better damage here, a lot better poke for Envy. You see the health so low for phase 2, the position not great. They're getting dislocated from each other.
The boops have been for Envy. They've won the fight. They've almost knocked them off into the edge. Trill going to go even deeper. Primal going to be up early, and the best part for Envy is they don't have to use it here. They do enough damage off the entry. Primal's going to be ready for the next fight. They get first cap. Things have gone much more smoothly for them here than it did a round ago.
It does. They look a lot more coordinated. Look like the Envy that we're used to seeing. You see Envy now with about that 5 ult. Trill holding close to the spawn. Maybe going to look for the Primal.
He's looking for knockoffs, but not the usual here. Normally,
either that or they're looking for the grab, and he's going to try to split the grab with his bubble.
The other. About to find out. He hops in. And yeah, they're looking for, well, they haven't even used grab yet. This is just a solid engage with high damage. Sharp held the grab. Trill held the Primal.
That was a good engage. I mean, the rally comes out for Jaru. Trill is set up behind, doesn't get scouted, so a lot of damage onto the back line from that jump, from that Taze combo. So Envy winning that pretty convincingly. They did trade out rallies with Rat. Phase 2 having to move back in, do the choke. Ults equal for both sides right now.
Once more, Trill leaping back in, being a distraction at the back. They force out the beat, but Sharp's down! Sharp gets picked. Nishik throws the orbs directly to his face. Duplicate uses Primal, senses the fast break opportunity, and things have gone so wrong for Envy here.
But I think if you're Envy, you're still okay with the fight, as Jaru is just building up this rally off of Duplicate. He will go down, but it's going to be 75, probably higher percentage for Envy. Yeah, it is going to be 75. They got the beat out, got the Primal out. They have plenty of time to come back into this fight, get more ults out of phase 2, and just get the perfect engage.
Yeah, I mean, I think Envy's in a totally fine situation here, but, you know, they would have liked to have expended ults and win that last fight, make it 99-0, but now they just move out. They quickly find Onyx. Onyx doesn't even get a chance to throw down grab, and, you know, one good clean fast break deserves another. As it turns out here, Envy with 2 early pickoffs in phase 2. Nothing they can do here but retreat, and this is going to put it into last fight territory.
Dropping that solo grab as well onto Duplicate into the cleanup. And Nishik tried to drop the trance to save him, but he was so far away.
I mean, the Duplicate was already down. So Envy holding the point, have double support ult. Phase 2 can move in with combo.
Going to be the last opportunity here for phase 2 on the round. Of course, they lose this round. Again, another opportunity again. Really beat can be committed here by Envy as they move in. Graviton out here from phase 2 on the other side, and they use it to get Trill. So Trill gone early. Phase 2 has some real opportunity here. Envy's used quite a bit. It hasn't resulted in them having an advantage. Gunther just desperately trying to get back over and up. Sharp gets 1, and Envy, you know, potentially with the ability to fight this back. Phase 2 might have let them off the hook.
They have the sustain. They have the sustain in this fight right now.
Well, Gunther
Well, as I
gets
say
pick
that,
off.
he's moved off.
Yeah, with Brigitte gone, this should be Phase 2's fight, and it makes it more likely Phase 2 could bring this back, but okay, Graviton out. Envy thinking there's a fast break opportunity. They're gonna get it. Another 2 heading to Envy. Now Envy can bring it back over into the point. Phase 2 unable to secure things. And that means Envy off the retake, about to take the round and force round 3.
Now Phase 2 gonna have to go stagger to the point, but this is just cleanup for Envy. Crimzo has the trance. There's really no way that they win this. And when I look at that fight, I see that engage, and I thought it was a really questionable engage from Envy where they use beat first. Fire drops the beat to allow Troll to get onto the back line as Envy picks up the cap, which really just set up, the grab for Onyx. But the longer the fight ran, the better poke that Envy got. So over time, even despite Jaru going off the map with the rally, they just won the poke war.
Works out pretty well for Envy in the end. Even though Envy, I gotta say, Envy has been looking a lot more mortal than I ever anticipated here. Especially versus Phase 2, where again, Phase 2, they've had to deal with roster swaps, they've had to deal with just having a season that has been on a downward trend. Envy's coming in here as the unstoppable tyrant, and they haven't quite looked the part.
They definitely have not looked the part so far. I wonder if maybe a little bit of overconfidence on their part when I look at that first round on a ball. As you see, because Sanctum's a much different beast, and even still, it was close.
Well, we're going to get into it here. Early wall going to be invested by Phase 2. And they're banking on the Mei. Both teams are really, to get good splits, but Mei versus Mei, we'll see who's going to be bringing the cold here on both sides. And it's going to be an early pickoff here onto Envy, where they lose Trill. But it is back and forth, and Envy, even down Trill early, doing a decent job of bringing it back. Jaro and Elevote just getting more done on Brigitte and Mei. Duplicate so close to falling here, not enough left to support him. And it's going to be Envy getting first control.
Envy getting the first control, the poke. Once again, and when we look at teams, and really a team like Phase 2 versus Envy and how strong they are, regardless of the current score, is poke war battles are just always going the way of Envy. They get so much more poke damage, they get so much more barrier health presence, they can make Phase 2 pretty much commit their life to chase a frag because of the peel advantage they have, and that's just showing a good team right there.
It's a leading indicator for a good team, and this is interesting for Elevote. Goes for the wall before they get over. Now they're going to use the grab because the wall doesn't really get the split they're looking for.
The grab was way too early.
Yeah, it was really early. It was surprising. Meanwhile, they get a good wall out from Phase 2. They used it to get Trill down again very early in the fight. And right now, this is looking not too shabby for Phase 2. Elevote's going to fall, and they have more than enough of a presence to get the flip.
That grab from Sharp was so questionable. I think he was expecting them to be a lot closer than they actually were. As you see, Crimzo stuck behind, cleaned up now by Nishik, by Gunther. Phase 2 holding the point, still holding onto the grab of their own, have the Blizzard. They have every ult they need as Crimzo now makes the swap onto the Zenyatta.
Phase 2 is in a very, very good spot here. I mean, I'd actually argue Phase 2 has seemed more coordinated than Envy. Envy's only been winning out on higher mechanical skill and poke damage, if I had to blame it on anything, but key set plays and otherwise for Envy, been very sloppy here so far. Graviton can be out here from Phase 2. They go to isolate Trill, and again, Trill, first to fall. They're totally fine using the solo grab. Envy in a heap of trouble, and Envy, they should just let this one go.
I mean, they let this one go, but the beat comes out so late from Fire, so they lose beat. They don't have it now for the next fight. They can still be happy, though, considering Phase 2 just used an incredible amount of ults, ZP.
I don't know why they use the Blizzard.
Beat, Blizzard, grab. I don't know why they use so many ults. A little bit of panic buttons there.
They only need grab and one support ult there. I mean, the grab was good enough. They used it to get down Trill. I don't know why they threw everything, including the kitchen sink,
that is a huge
after.
misplay from Phase 2.
And Phase 2 deciding, maybe we don't need this huge advantage to go for it. Elevote going to get a decent split, but both ice walls coming out here. Both teams split and was now a much more messier fight, but the Blizzard making a lot more room for Envy here, and Pika has to kind of look at himself and go, man, what would have been nice for this fight? The Blizzard that I threw away in the last fight.
What would have been nice? A trance or a beat, one of our support ults. Duplicate hits a great shatter there, but the wall from Elevote getting that early split, denying Phase 2 a lot of their, the ability to follow up on the grab. On top of that, the Blizzard that's up for Elevote means that the sustain was still just so much better for Envy. Phase 2 just literally had no ults.
So Envy's still in a precarious spot here. It's a one-fight margin. Phase 2 should get 2 good cracks at it if they're swift in setting up. There's not really any reason to believe that they won't be. Again, Billy Maywall's getting born here. Trill opening up with the Shatter. Doesn't get anyone off the Shatter. It's thought he had something, didn't. Ball comes out from Phase 2, not going to get the split they're looking for. Now Elevote holding in the back. Phase 2 having to respect the wall from Elevote. And, you know, right now we have walls everywhere as both teams trying to figure out, all right, how exactly do we go around and clean up off this? But we're going to see the grab in from Phase 2. Wall going to be trying to split. Evened up a bit, is getting awfully chilly in here. Transcendence used from Envy. Sharp builds up grab midway through. Both teams down 1. Duplicate out of the fight. Trill, Reinhardt advantage still in, but Phase 2, more support power on their side. And this is going to give them the flip.
This is going to give them the flip. Fire very close to the beat, though. They can give beat to Trill. Look to set up the engage. Crimzo so close to going down, and Pika has this Blizzard. He's going to look for it.
Envy has to stay in the fight. It's going to be over if they're not. They need to stay on. Trill builds up the Shatter, throws it away! The Shatter goes into nothing! Trill just simply dying the Phase 2. That was not a good Shatter, nor good positioning. Phase 2 gonna be finishing out. I mean, I understand Envy had to stay on the point, but this is...
They're winning the map here.
Yeah,
there's nothing alive. That is going to be Nepal for Phase 2. Their May actually looking a little bit stronger overall. I think their May play looking very good. Duplicate hitting key Shatters throughout these fights. I like Pika on the May previously for Phase 2, and that is first map.
You know, taking a look at this, I believe Envy already has first seed locked up, so there's a possibility that maybe players got more rest or something here. I don't really know. I mean, it's a combination of trying to explain what we just saw. Phase 2 definitely looks better than the norm, but this has been a lot sloppier than what we've come to expect from Envy. It's not the same team, at least from map 1, that has gotten them to a 6-0 record here so far. So I'm a little bit surprised at how map 1 went down.
I think that Phase 2 played to their strengths in a lot of ways. They probably surprised Envy with how coordinated they're looking, especially with the new roster. Because remember, this is a new roster for Phase 2, at least with some new players. Because players have left, obviously, since their season is over. Even if they win this, even if they beat the undefeated Envy, they don't make playoffs. They're done. So, maybe a little... I'm really just chalking it down to overconfidence and not respecting Phase 2's new players and, you know, the strengths they did have as that first map.
I mean, Phase 2, though, they still have a lot to fight for here where, yeah, no matter what they do, they're going to be facing relegation. They're going to have to fight their way back in. But, you know, players like Duplicate that have been playing very, very well, for example, you know, you think about what is going through your head if you're in that position, and it goes, I want to show that I'm good enough to get to an academy team and not have to worry about the potential relegation. Get to a team that has a spot and go from there, because Phase 2's in the situation where, you know, part of the reason why you have more roster turnover is that, you know, they're a team that is very poachable if there's talent on the team that's there, because people want to potentially move up to a team that's doing better. But being able to beat Envy here, it's a statement for everyone involved, at least for map 1, and we'll see what Envy does to bounce back.
So we're going to get in here into the second map. It's going to be Blizzard World or Hybrid. And we saw, I mean, I would say last map was Blizzard World in a way with all the May play, but...
It was.
And there's a lot of ha-has in chat, I'm sure, after that one. As we move in here to our second map of the series. Phase 2 currently up 1-0 over Envy.
Not words I really expected to hear, but that is where we're at right now, and like I said, combination of factors leading to it. So
getting ready for here, the teams to roll out. And I have to say, Phase 2, especially Onyx, I think has looked relatively stronger than he has all season. Duplicate still looking very good. I like Pika on the May when possible. Pika's showing some flexibility there for Phase 2. This is going to be Phase 2 on the defense first.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that's worth noting here for Onyx is that Onyx had the tendency to be over-aggressive and get picked off first step more often than you would ever expect. And he's really toned that down. I mean, he's been much more solid. I think he's hit the right balance between aggression and, you know, holding back. And for Phase 2, it has helped.
You see Envy moving in here. On the offense, going to be taking this corner position. Pretty standard when you're in the Ryan v Ryan matchup, as both teams are. See the bubbles traded. Envy backing up after trade those bubbles, get the energy. Gonna move him back in here soon for another fight.
'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now it's time to go. 'Envy just waiting for cooldowns back up. Now They dive in. All right, well, we just cursed Onyx. Not we, I.
We did.
I cursed Onyx.
I don't think that was entirely Onyx's fault, though. He got rushed.
Yes.
In that scenario, he got rushed very, very hard. He got isolated. It wasn't him necessarily being in a terrible position.
No, I don't.
Gets 2 frags.
I don't think it's Onyx's fault, but, you know, when you go off of the entire thing, it's like, you know, he just doesn't die first anymore. And what does Envy do? They're just like, oh, he doesn't die first anymore, does he? They charge it and immediately just send him to the Nether Realm, so it's going to be Envy getting point A rather quickly.
That is Envy getting the first point. Sharp significantly ahead in the grab fight, obviously, because he did stay alive, and Onyx was the first to die. Jaru also had in the rally. So I imagine Envy, when they look at this fight, you see Phase 2 coming forward very aggressively, looking to stop the cart. Jaru's going to pop the rally, and Envy are going to look for the engage. You see right now, here's the engage.
Engage moving forward, Phase 2 trying to rotate up to the high ground. It still stalled the cart at the same time. I mean, the thing that's a little bit dangerous for them, okay, they've already lost Onyx here. Again, early going the fall, but more than that, they're pressured to stay forward because Envy was about to bring the cart away without him.
And once again, Onyx going down first, not necessarily totally his fault. He was split from his team, but he was also low. Phase 2 was so overall scattered that there was no one to heal him. And Elivo just hearing that call, engages when Onyx cleans him up. Only the rally used for Jaru. Envy moving the cart forward. And this next fight is going to be almost a 5-volt v 5-volt, 5-volt v 6-volt situation.
I mean, this is game-breaking for the entire map. This decides, does Envy speedrun Phase 2 here and go back to their dominant self, or does Phase 2 put up a real fight? Phase 2 going to drop down. Rally already invested. Puts a timer on them to get in Envy's face. Envy, meanwhile, just saying, all right, we're just not going to engage here. While your Rally's super active, they bide their time. They wait for Rally to get close to fading. Then they move forward, and Sharp says, now it's time to go. Drops a grab on in, directly to the middle. And what a pick off. Trill just going to abduct Duplicate there, take him away. Some full Liam Neeson stuff going on.
And that is, you know, the beat comes out for Gunther to keep the Duplicate alive, but he's so far away, he's dead by the time the beat is hit. Because remember, it's a sound wave. It travels kind of slow comparatively to a lot of other mediums. That's some physics for you. As now, Envy on the point, getting the cap, have set a very, very fast time, and Trill's pin there was extremely good. You know, just getting 1 frag is all you need.
Onyx going for the really early grab here, getting met by a Transcendence, and the self-destruct timing off for Phase 2. Envy just able to back away from it. They're going to beat, even as a good shatter comes in from Duplicate, they're going to be able to just deal with it, get back up, counter fire on the Duplicate. And Phase 2 right now, they're getting speed run. Nothing has really worked out well for them here so far.
That beat from Fire was really clutch. Duplicate shatter was so big that it could have turned the fight entirely. But Fire's beat keeps him alive. Trill once again hitting another great pin onto Duplicate. So Envy moving forward here. I imagine once again they're going to look for Jaru's rally to set up this engage. Look for grab after, though Onyx is getting close to the grab of his own. Onyx
building up the second grab here really quickly. It's good stuff from him. Envy, rally invested. Sharp going to be looking for the grab any moment now. This is where Pika has to look to Eden. Oh, the shatter to the back, knocking down 2. But the Transcendence up in time. Phase 2 going to sustain through it.
Crimso just didn't have trance in time. And Sharp commits the grab, gets the trance out of Nishik. But Phase 2 win the fight overall. Duplicate will have shatter. Gunther coming up on the beat. So Envy committed a lot of ults for that fight and did not get much in return.
That's what Phase 2 needed there, to keep this at a reasonable time, something that, you know, they don't have to be under immense pressure for their next attack. Envy, meanwhile, they'll be going around the left side here. Trill, nowhere close to a shatter, used pretty early in the last fight. And Envy actually drained on ults here to where they use Transcendence super early. It's under pressure, but look at the shatter in from Duplicate. Go put Trill onto the ground. Trill, take it for a ride. Duplicate dealing with his counterpart. They do lose Onyx on the other end, but this is still winnable here for Duplicate. Just gonna roll forward, pumped up by the rally, but now the isolation on the Duplicate. Can he even turn around the corner? No, he can't. Envy gonna take him down. And Envy now with an opportunity to bring this right back into Phase 2.
Trill will be back. He is coming back. Sharp down, has to come back from spawn. Looks like Fire isn't going to go back and taxi him either, so Sharp's going to have to take the slow route. As you see this fight, you know, stack up here on Cardigan. Duplicate is here. Ryan's looking at each other. There is still, Envy is waiting for combo. Nishik has the trance, so they're waiting for combo. They're waiting for Sharp to get here. He is here now. You see the pressure onto Duplicate's shield.
Sharp is going to drop the grab as the shield is heavily pressured. Not going to be able to stay through a whole lot here. And yet Phase 2 still able to shield it off. No one dying to the combo. We'll be forcing out the beat from Envy on the other side. Trill, though, shadow of his own, knocks down 3. No, way more than that. It's the entire team falling to the ground. Smasher of good ults back in form as Envy completes a pretty quick time here in Blizzard World.
I mean, that's just the reaction test right there. Trill puts out his shatter right also when Duplicate is looking for it and gets everyone down while the shield is down. And that's really what cleans it up there. The trances were traded, the grabs were traded. That is the smasher of good ults for Mr. Trill. And Envy finishing still with a solid time on Blizzard World 217.
And 217, I would argue that's, scanning my memory banks of all the various Overwatch that we've seen.
I see database ZP here, scanning the memory banks.
Yes,
checking out the hard drive.
I should have said, thinking about my memories here. That's what the humans like to say, isn't it? But no, I can't think of too many times we've seen faster than this on Blizzard World. It's definitely on the higher end.
Is pretty fast. I thought you were about to make a joke as well, alluding to like, well, to understand why 217 is fast, we have to go back to Voltage. We have to talk about
Voltage, even though Blizzard World wasn't a map in the time that he played, he set the trends that would later be set. No, we're not doing that. We're good. We're good. We don't need to go down a history lesson in this instance. But this is going to be Envy here on the defense, phase 2 on the attack. And neither team really looking to change much, if anything, up.
Envy are looking a lot more serious on this map than they looked on Nepal for me. I think Envy definitely came out underestimating phase 2.
I think that's likely, especially with just how sloppy they looked at control relative to their norm, which is usually pretty crisp, I would say.
So now, Envy going to be on the defense here. Phase 2 on the offense. Both teams running the mirror matchup. Ryan v. Ryan, Zen v. Zen. And we're going to watch this poke war. Watch these Zarya bubbles be used.
And Envy, of course, not a team to be shy and taking the engagement to the opposition here. You're going to see Trill hiding here, right behind the wall. But as soon as they feel they have an edge and cooldown, where Duplicate has already used shield, Trill pretty low, but as soon as they heal him back up, might go in. I think they actually did enough damage to Trill to temper Envy's wish to be aggro there.
They're Sharp using the self bubble. Both teams still just getting the poke, trying to get the cooldowns out of Trill. Engages a little bit more. Pika so deep though, gets caught.
That was so much good damage coming in from Sharp there, just melting down the mech. That puts phase 2 in a bad way.
Losing that first fight, even those ults to Envy, losing that time, very bad. Pika just a little bit isolated. Being caught off in the rest of phase 2, being away from the shield, takes that damage as he tries to cross.
So Envy, a decent start here, already a minute burned off the clock, and a good spot ult-wise as well. And for Envy, just better mechanical play so far.
See phase 2 moving back in here again, getting close to the transitions. Crimson being so aggressive on the flanks, getting that poke.
Yeah, a little bit extra.
Phase 2 still looking to come forward.
Build your transcends a little bit quicker. Pika not going to be as wild in going for a flank here. Trill knocked around a little bit. Bubble though used on Duplicate, and now they realize there's an opportunity. They go in as soon as the bubble is down, and they're looking for Pika. Pika's about to get down. He's out of the mech. Graviton can be invested. Pulls out the Transcendence. This is actually really, really good for Envy. Phase 2 still think the fight is winnable. They use Transcend early. They're going to drop the grab into the Transcendence. They've made a decent fight out of it, given that they got Trill down, but here comes Self-Destruct. Up and over. Going to be blocked away. But Crimso on the flank finds Zarya. Envy chipping away at phase 2, and it's still looking pretty decent for them here.
This is, especially with Duplicate getting the bash, they deny the cleanup on the Elevote. There's the beat. Crimso finding Rat, and this will be cleanup.
And despite that early pickoff, despite that, the DMAC on the Pika and then the Shatter catching Trill, Envy recognized that they are still in a great position. Trill can charge back, he'll be there in time, they can commit their support ults to the fight, while there's no bomb for Pika in particular, and just sustain long enough to get those frags.
So phase 2 now down to the final minute and a half, about 2 good attacks left, and they've invested a lot to not much on the other end, not even 33% in their favor here so far.
Phase 2 does have double support ult ZP, so they have a very small window where they can use this to try to run over, catch someone before Sharp gets the grab, because if Sharp gets the grab, then the situation gets a lot harder for phase 2.
They have to use a shield just to save Duplicate. Envy thinking about diving in the other way. Instead, it's going to be a super aggro beat from phase 2. No! Right into the Shatter! Immediate response from Trill. And that's a good ult indeed.
That is a really good ult. Phase 2, we see, Rhines, they need to keep in their mind that the other team probably has Shatter if the fight's been going on for a while. You killed Trill early. He never dropped the Shatter before. and Duplicate was walking forward, wasn't holding right mouse button or whatever he has it bound to, wasn't holding up the big rectangle. All of his team was shattered off that aggression. That's just Rhyme games.
Yeah, and now it means we're into final fight, and everything you're talking about, oh, you know, move in before Sharp has grab. Well, guess what? Sharp has grab, Elevote has bomb, and things looking pretty rough here. Nice shatter, though, to open things up here. Gets one early pickoff, puts Elevote on the ground. Still a combo up for Envy. I think they're going to go for it here. I think down a man.
Will commit.
You still go for it. You can get the first point hold. You can have this grab Eden. Pika just eats it on up. Sharp unable to connect. And everything that could go wrong for Envy here has gone wrong. Phase 2 going to be taking the point.
But Envy are going to be moving into the next fight. It was a long hold. They still have double supports. They still have, you know, the fight that Trill coming up on that shatter as well. They have a lot of ability to give value to the front line, give value to Trill, set up the shatter, set up the bomb from Elevote even, because especially with their supports.
Alrighty, so 2 minutes left here for phase 2. A long way to go on point B. Envy, though, rattled towards the end of point A. Crowd talking being used here. Pika looking for the bomb. Is it going to be a swift connection? It is! Sharp is down. And Pika even gets the D-Mech right off of it as well. And even with the Brigitte falling, it's too much damage done for phase 2. Envy must back off.
They have to back up, but that is the combo gone for phase 2. Fire was able to save Beat here as well, so they'll have that ult up. I imagine Envy moving forward here, going to look to set up Trill, look to set up Elevote using this rally. Because Onyx just bursting some of those robot pinatas.
Envy going to be heading in with a whole lot of power in reserve to this next fight, a fight that they should win. Again, putting in phase 2 in one-fight territory. And Trill just going to move forward with Reckless Abandon. Already has the Discord Orb on him. Needs to be perhaps a little bit careful. And oh, again, the Shatter going to be knocking down 3. And the fall-through is there. The bomb, almost gratuitous over the top. I think actually was needed because of the Transcendence.
I think that Nishik was... I think it was really going to be done either way. They were going to be able to get the cleanup from the frags even without the bomb. But now even better because Nishik, no trance. Sharp coming up on the grab. Trill has, I have to say, Duplicate always been a bright spot for phase 2, but Trill has been consistently matching his shatters, if not getting far more value.
Particularly on this map. I think last map, Duplicate was getting the better of Trill, and things have definitely changed here on Blizzard World, where phase 2, now down to their final attack. And speaking of Duplicate, Duplicate needs to come up big here.
Duplicate does have that shatter. Onyx building close to the grab, but Envy, double support ult, and Sharp a grab of his own. Good see. Phase 2 just holding the high ground. Here comes Envy trying to clear them off.
Yeah, and they get better poke and forces phase 2 off. They shift their attentions to payload. Duplicate, shield under heavy pressure, moving forward. He's very much telegraphing a shatter here, but meanwhile they're going to get caught by grab. Sharp sets on up. Graviton Eden on the other side. Elevote just gobbles it on up. And Envy isolating, dealing with phase 2 here. Duplicate unable to land a good shatter. And Envy just need a little bit more. Duplicate, though, deep into the back line. Gets one. Onyx gets another. Phase 2 actually fighting it back.
Phase 2 winning this back. Elevote gets 2, though. Gets both supports. Fire cleaned up Duplicate, who's so deep. And Elevote, with these picks on the cart, he's turned it around. Even with that fight win with Duplicate getting all that value from Nishik's trance, Elevote has secured it.
And Envy going to stop it here in the middle of Blizzard World. And what more can you say here where control was remarkably sloppy for Envy? They did not look great.
I think that's it.
And Blizzard World looked way, way better for Envy. I mean, it's dominant both on the attack and the defense. So for me, I'm looking at this and just thinking, okay, Envy woke up.
I think it's really Envy, not even necessarily waking up, being awake, but choosing to play half asleep because it was at the end of the day still underestimating phase 2. They didn't think that they would have such problems with him, especially when, you know, they have Trill, who everyone's like, well, Trill's a great main tank. But Duplicate, you know, we've talked about him time and time again for phase 2, despite his team's performance and them not being the greatest in the group necessarily. I've seen Duplicate now over two iterations for phase 2, and he's looked good. He looks really good. He looks like he can hold his own versus a main tank like Trill. So you don't have a guaranteed fight win. You don't have a guaranteed, you know, trump card when you have Trill on main tank there, you know, because oftentimes against these lower performing teams, you can sort of run over them in the frontline war, but Duplicate isn't letting that happen.
Duplicate has been a fantastic trump card moving in here, the ace in the hole, as it were, the diamond in the rough. You know, that And I could go on with calling what he is, but he has been one of the most valuable players for Phase 2. The question is Phase 2 going to be able to leverage that to bring things back? It's 1-1 here at the half, but Envy, looking dominant, looking back in form. It's going to be a challenge for Phase 2. Will they rise up to that challenge? We'll see in just a little bit.